In the last video, I talked about North America at night, and a picture inspired me for many years, but it wasn't until I started working for NOAA that I actually appreciated the amount of work that went into that picture and how important pictures like that are. It's not a snapshot of a clear night. You don't get a clear, cloudless night over all of North America. It's a composite of many pictures taken over many cloudy nights with all the clouds filtered out. I've spent most of my time at NOAA working for a satellite called JPSS, the Joint Polar Satellite System. On the satellite, there's an instrument called VIRS. It's a visible infrared imager, and it takes pictures like the one of North America at night, and it can track city glow, it can track moon reflection off of clouds, so it can see an awful lot. It also has 21 other bands that it uses to take pictures and get a complete view of what's going on in the world. It doesn't just see big massive lights from giant cities, it sees small things like fishing boats. We can tell when a neighborhood goes solar because there's extra reflection off the solar panels, and we can see fires, not just wildfires but campfires. Our ability to see fire is a tidbit that leaked into the Qinali virus. Now, from a science perspective, seeing fire from space is a life-saving ability. We can track where the fire is, which way the wind is blowing. We can tell first responders where to go, where to concentrate their efforts. And I think that's incredible. When I wrote the Qinali virus, I'd created a future where we had been through a dark age. We lost that line of satellites, we lost that knowledge. So when in the book, when they launched the weather satellite, I'm not picturing something like JPSS, I'm picturing something that's more like TIROS-1, which was the very first weather satellite, which is celebrating its 60th anniversary this year. Happy birthday, TIROS. But that was a satellite. It was supposed to live 100 days and take like 250,000 pictures and send them back. And it's amazing how much just a picture from space can add to a weather forecast. I read this passage during the launch party, and today I wanted to tie it to the inspiration. They launched a satellite in the book, and that launch triggered some ground fires that aren't yet contained. And Amber's colleague Mara confesses that she wishes their satellite could see these fires from space. Also, there's a little jest about the perpetually delayed launch. It's like, oh, here's the launch date, and it's scrubbed. Here's the next launch date, and it's scrubbed. And those are just little pieces of comfort and familiarity that come from living in the science world. And I really like to just inject that into books, because when I see other academics doing that, I can tell they lived that academic life. Ready to go home, Mara asked, poking her head into Amber's cube. A real launch party this time, Amber asked, checking the time. Chenna's memorial, Mama. So I'm going to read from down here. So, ready to go home, Mara asked, poking her head into Amber's cube. A real launch party this time, Amber asked, checking the time. Chenna's memorial, Mara reminded her. You said you'd help move the plants. I did, Amber asked, quickly tidying her desk. She twisted her ankle running from the chaos of the satellite launch, and it hurt to walk. But Mara kept a slow pace. It's an easy task, Mara rambled. Chenna's family really appreciates the help. The joyful end hits family and friends a little harder than neighbors and acquaintances. It makes sense. Did it ever hit you? Amber asked. What we saw? It did, Mara confessed. Life is so short. I went to visit my parents, my cousin. I didn't go overnight like you did, but I went to see them. And I'm glad I did. My older cousin is on the fire suppression team. I thought Zee was so lucky to see the launch that close, and now I'm worried Zee's not going to have a joyful end. I'm worried Zee's going to burn, and I'm not going to see Zee again. Mara, Amber whispered sympathetically. They've rounded up 3 more teams. I'm sure they'll have the fire contained soon. I have all these mixed feelings. I want the fire out, but I also want the satellite to take pictures of it from space, Mara chuckled, then sniffled and wiped her cheeks. It would be visible from space, wouldn't it, Amber realized, and possibly from Gentile Valley. If she could see the smoke from the valley, she could orient herself and find out where her astral body had been projecting all these weeks. She wondered if she had time to try, if she could make it happen on command. It wouldn't take more than 5 minutes, assuming she could control her return. My ankle is acting up. I have a sports wrap at home, Amber said, making a show of limping. We don't need to be there this early. I just couldn't concentrate on work and I needed an excuse to leave, Mara confessed. Meet me in an hour in the game suite? Sure, Amber said. Game suite? 5th floor, Mara chuckled. You need to get out more. But there are people out there, Amber said. Mara shoved her hands in her pockets and ducked her head as she walked. Amber felt bad for her, but she didn't have the energy to deal with Mara's grief. She was glad to know Mara wasn't as soulless as she'd seemed when they first found Chenna dead. Hustling to her condo, Amber drew the curtains, locked all the doors. She watered Chenna's plant and settled down on her couch, crossing her ankles and her arms. Before she knew it, she was there in Gentile Valley.